North Carolina Scenic Byways presents The Road Traveled, the past to the present. To appreciate the true character of North Carolina, residents and visitors travel to scenic byways that crisscross our state. Follow these byways and you see breathtaking scenery, from the curving mountain roads of the Blue Ridge Mountains and through the rural countryside of our Piedmont to our crystal blue coastline. To better understand North Carolina's Scenic Byway program, here are high points of our history. What happened on the road leading from the past to the present? The foundation and motivation for what later occurred at the state level was the Federal Highway Administration's initiative to research and categorize unique and historical roads throughout our nation. In the mid to late 1980s, petitions arrived in the governor's office requesting that the state develop our own network of scenic roads. The Division of Highways proposed that the department preserve historic points of interest along the roadways through the use of scenic byways. In the late 1980s, DOT assigned the Roadside Environmental Unit responsibility for investigating a feasible system. To establish program guidelines and criteria, the unit assembled an interagency task force. In March 1990, the Board of Transportation unanimously approved the program and designated 31 initial byways. In 1993, two events defined the future course. First, the North Carolina General Assembly passed House Bill 1053, an act to authorize the designation of scenic highways and byways. The legislative bill also prohibited the building of any new billboards on designated routes. Second, the North Carolina Board of Transportation approved the funding for the Scenic Byways program, the funding needed to erect logo signs along each byway route, and the funding to print a booklet that promotes all North Carolina scenic byways. A program kickoff was held along the French Broad River in the fall of 1994. The guide booklet was completed and all byway routes were signed. The more involved process to develop administrative codes was approved by March of 1995. The department and its task force successfully established the original 31 scenic byways. Then, in 1996, to ensure greater public involvement, a more structured procedure for designating new byways was put in place. This process involved a more grassroots effort. Once established, applications rolled in. A series of new scenic routes were designated, and the list continues to grow year after year. To study detailed maps and descriptions for each byway, page through the award-winning Scenic Byways booklet. Travel these byways and you'll find evidence of the program goal: to identify and highlight scenic roads with unusual, exceptional, or unique intrinsic qualities for public viewing and enjoyment. The objectives of the program are to provide a public and community service by recognizing safe and enjoyable drives which lead to those special places identifying the character and legacy of North Carolina. Give visitors and residents a chance to experience a bit of North Carolina history, geography, and culture while raising awareness for the protection and preservation of these treasures. Provide a beneficial economic development and tourism tool for North Carolina communities. Promote the designated routes by means such as brochures, signage, and the web. What's the response in North Carolina's communities? Many community leaders and citizens would like their roadways to be designated. So how does this application process work? In the initial Phase 1, interested North Carolina-based nonprofit organizations or public establishments contact the Scenic Byways office in Raleigh and complete an application to be added to an official study list. After staff review, if the route meets minimal criteria for designation, a second phase begins. This more formal and in-depth application requires a considerable amount of time on both the applicant and DOT's part. Staff obtain copies of zoning ordinances, listings of land use planning, and assess proof of public support. Slides of the byway's characteristics provide documentation, and the Roadside Environment Unit conducts a visual inventory to assess the intrinsic qualities of the route and verify the accuracy of content. The final report with a staff recommendation is passed on to the Board of Transportation, who retains the final authority to approve and designate a scenic byway route. How does the Department of Transportation decide which places should become part of our program?